So it's official. Nathan Brown will be the Warriors coach from 2021. And the former Knights coach joins me now from Sydney. Nathan, tell us, you originally said no, but the offer must have become attractive again. Take us through why you changed your mind.
Oh, look, I had some, at the time, it was sort of first about. It wasn't for me for a number of reasons, which was not really anyone's business, to be honest with you, but it was just the right thing for me at that time. And then as time sort of unfolded and then, Toddy turned the job down, I thought, the club had taken a few hits and there's a lot of nice people over there and I always said it was a decent opportunity. So my manager said, why don't you give the owner a call, Robbo, and have a chat to him. So I gave him a call and expressed a couple of things to Robbo and we had a good chat and then here we are today.
What is it that's attracted you to the Warriors job?
Well, I've been good friends with Peter Sullivan for a lot of years and generally the clubs that Sully works at over time tend to have a lot of talented younger players. I always liked, some of when I first went to the club and did a bit of consulting for Mooks and the guys there, I always thought that, there was a decent bunch of blokes that Mooks had put in place that were hungry and keen. And, they're a squad that's developing, I suppose you could say. There's a couple of talented young players coming through and, there's some blokes that have just been brought to the club like Wade Egan who's got some nice talent in a very, very key position. And, there's already some good players there and some young emerging ones and a few signings they've made. So it seemed like certainly a club on the rise, but it's always been a club, the Warriors, which I suppose a lot of people say is a bit of a sleeping giant, I suppose, but I thought, some stuff which, Mooks and that have put in place and Peter O'Sullivan and Smithy and those guys about having an SG ball side was a real step in the right direction for the development of the younger Kiwi players because a lot of the younger kids were getting pinched from New Zealand because they could, I suppose, be attracted to play for an NRL club at ages of 16 and 17, which made it extremely difficult for the Warriors to keep their better younger players. And I thought that thing that was put in place was a real positive for the club moving forward. So I could only see positive things about the club moving forward. So, at the end of the day, after talking to Robbo, I felt if the job was still available and they'd like me to have a shot at it, I'd have a shot at it.
As a coach, what do you think you can bring to the job?
Oh, look, I've got a lot of experience now. I've worked at 4 different clubs now and had a couple in England and a couple in Australia. So I feel I've got a lot of experience. And I feel I can certainly help the club move forward. And obviously, every time you go to a club, every coach's goal is to try and win a premiership. That's what everyone wants to do. Unfortunately, there's only one winner every year, and not everyone does. But I feel every club I've been to has been far better for me being at it, and the next coach that's taken over has, been given a very, very good roster. But the ideal goal is help the Warriors improve and continue to grow and be a part of success. Because as a coach, that's what we all want to win.
Obviously, there's a lot to weigh up with the coronavirus and potentially you may have to play the entire season in Australia next year. How are you planning that?
Oh, look, there's a lot of water to go under the bridge now. I only, recommenced my chat with the Warriors, honestly, yesterday. It was only yesterday that I spoke to Robbo and Cameron George. So I'm quite aware of there's a number of things being put in place for if this virus sort of continues to get worse and borders are shut. So there's numbers of things and plans that are in place, through the Warriors and the NRL. So I suppose we'll know a lot more there over the next sort of month or so. But, in an ideal world, everyone will live in Auckland and go down that path. But if that's not the case, obviously the team may need to be based somewhere in Australia for a season. But I think there's a lot of water to go under the bridge there, and you're probably best off talking to the higher powers than myself about that stuff at the minute, because as I said, I only just entered the fray again yesterday.
What do you make of living in Auckland? I know you were here in a previous role. Did you enjoy your time here?
Well, over the years of travelling into New Zealand and playing and coaching, I'd sort of just land in the city and it'd be sort of generally a bit damp and wet in winter, and you'd head out to the ground and play and then go home. So you never, ever as a player got to have a look in New Zealand, or in Auckland, which was unfortunate. It was when I got to go there this year for weeks at a time and I got to look around. It's a beautiful city, and I know a number of people that live there and they all say the same thing. So, we've moved a lot, my family, due to obviously the occupation I'm in, and we've lived in different parts of different countries and different parts of New South Wales. So moving for us is something that we're very used to, and to move to a place like Auckland, which is obviously such a beautiful city. It'll be another great, not only a great working experience, but a great family experience as well.
Do you think you'll attract some players here that you've got your eye on?
Look, as I said, this all only unfolded yesterday, so I'll be shooting a bit from the hip, but I'll certainly be in contact with Sully and the staff and talking about numbers of options and seeing what's available. And obviously, to attract Australian players in New Zealand's always proved a tough task over the journey, but whenever the Warriors seem to get the balance right of a nice blend of good local players and a couple of good Aussie players, they generally have some sort of success, So the teams that have played well under Daniel Anderson and Ivan in particular, certainly had a lot of good local players that had come through the system of the Warriors and had a little filtering of a couple of Aussies that brought plenty to the table. So, but it's not, recruitment's certainly not an easy thing, and you need a little bit of luck. And to get a couple of players over the ditches sometimes is not as easy as what anyone would like. But we'll certainly be working hard, and hopefully we can pull a couple of things off that work in everyone's favour.
Phil Goulds come into the fold as a consultant. Are you excited by that?
But I understand what they want Gus to do, and Gus is obviously very good at. He lobbied a lot of stuff together and sort of obviously helped save the Panthers financially, and then put the academy together. And for the Warriors to be the best club they can be, certainly having the Auckland Rugby League, New Zealand Rugby League, and Warriors all working together is certainly the best outcome. I've got no doubt about that. I don't think anyone would argue with that. And having an academy for the young kids to come into, again, it's only a positive move. And Gus has sort of been put in charge of obviously getting those type of things together, which at the end of the day, we've sort of seen what's happened for Penrith at the moment with their centre of excellence, which is bringing through all their kids at the moment. And I know Newcastle's got big plans to run up there. From in my time there, they were sort of getting something in place there. And all those things can only be positive news for rugby league in not only Auckland, but in New Zealand, for lots of young kids that get given an opportunity. And it's not only going to be an opportunity where a kid has to play for the Warriors, but he may end up going somewhere else and playing. But what it does is it provides pathways for young kids. And anytime we're doing that in any sporting code, I think it's a great thing.
What will success look like for you when you come to the club? Have you given yourself a look-ahead plan?
As I said, to continue to develop the club's obviously a very important thing. And, it's obviously your ultimate goal is to win. And that's every coach that, whether it be the Warriors, doesn't matter what club it is, everyone's ultimate goal is to win, But in the short term, it's to continue the club to build and move forward. That's the short-term goal. And things like what hopefully get put in place with the juniors continues to grow, because the Warriors are going to be successful on the back of homegrown players. So for me, it's about getting better, and if each year you continue to grow and you can become a regular finals team, that's when you give yourself a shot at the ultimate prize. No club sort of has one great year, then a bad year, then a great year, and then a few bad years and is successful. It's about sustained success, and ultimately, being a consistent finals team is what we need to be if we want to win the ultimate prize.
Well, it's a big challenge, Nathan, and we wish you all the best. Thanks for talking to Sky Sport News.
Thank you.